Hey there, Caleb Denison with Digital Trends. We're at Samsung's first look event at CES 2018. I am standing here with Dave Dawes. We get to do this every year, and I love it every time because you guys end up bringing a whole lot of really interesting tech to the show, but this year, at least in my recollection, is one of the most significant, and we have a lot to talk about, so I just want to jump right into it. First of all, let's address the monster, or in this case, the wall in the room. What is right behind us right now?
So, Caleb, right behind us is the 146-inch micro LED display that we're affectionately calling the wall. This is truly groundbreaking technology because it is self-emissive, yet it also has 2,000 nits of brightness. So you get the deepest blacks and those brightest whites.
You know, I mean, let's be honest. You're the senior vice president of Samsung Electronics. Your talking points are to communicate how awesome this is, right? As a journalist, I'm going to stand here and agree with you 100%. This is indeed awesome. And I want to kind of drill down into that self-emissive thing right now, because conventional LED televisions aren't really LED televisions, right? Because it's an LED backlight shining through an LCD panel, and those come with some issues. This are, if I'm not mistaken, are individual tiny little LEDs that are making their own light. Is that correct?
Exactly. These are red, green, and blue LEDs on a pixel level. As you said, self-emitting their own light. So that eliminates the need for a color filter or any of the things that you might have in a traditional LCD TV. And as I mentioned, this is groundbreaking technology which doesn't have some of the deficiencies of existing technologies. In other words, there's no longevity issues, there's no potential burn-in issues. So this really is the future of TV that Samsung is going to bring to market in 2018.
You're talking about perfect black levels, you're talking about excellent color mixing, excellent processing, of course. It is a legitimate competition to OLED, but it's not organic, and I think that's one of the points that we should make here. It's also modular. Can you explain what that means? Because I know that you have a modular cinema display that's massive 30-foot wall. This is a great TV, but let's be honest, it's a little big for most people's homes. Is this going to maybe get scaled down at some point to work for smaller homes?
So this is absolutely scalable, Caleb. And you mentioned it is similar technology to that cinema LED commercial display that we have, but this is modular and designed for consumers' homes. So it's absolutely scalable. But the beauty of this is that we've made it truly edgeless, so it's virtually impossible to see any seams in this TV.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I don't want to gush on this too much because there's so much amazing stuff. We're going to need to sort of make a transition because you're talking about 8K AI. And I know that the first thing that people think is, first of all, I just bought a 4K TV. Why are you already talking about 8K? Second is, there's no 8K content out there. What is the point of pushing 8K out there right now? I think the answer actually among anybody who's really looked at a gigantic display up close knows, but I mean, what's the deal? What's the deal with 8K right now?
So you hit the nail on the head. Actually, consumers, especially in the US, are buying larger and larger screen sizes. Traditionally, 55-inch, 65-inch was kind of the sweet spot. Now, you know, it's 75-inch, 82-inch, even larger than that. And as the screen sizes get bigger, resolution is much more critical. So, as you said, what is the benefit of having an 8K TV if there isn't any native content out there? That's the beauty, and that is the critically important part of having 8K artificial intelligence in our Samsung premium TVs. So, as I mentioned, we are commercializing this in 2018, and it upscales any content, whether it's standard definition or full HD or even 4K, no matter the source. So you could be streaming content at low bandwidth, and the TV is actually able to upscale to 8K.
We've had 4K upscaling for a long time. This is just another step to that with a little bit more processing horsepower. I want to talk a little bit about QLED. As you said, there's a lot of stuff that's getting commercialized this year. We're going to see it on the market. You guys have been working on QLED a little bit. QLED first came out. It was a new version of what had been SUHD before. QLED made some small incremental improvements the next year after that. Not quite what I was hoping for. I have seen the future of QLED, and I'm really impressed. You guys made some improvements there, didn't you?
Absolutely. So tonight we're really talking about the future and our vision for TV, But we're also going to share a little bit of how we've improved QLED. A couple of the key picture quality improvements, we've addressed some of the areas that we needed to work on from prior years. Namely, we've added full array local dimming technology to some of our QLED lineup. We've improved our anti-glare film to improve black levels, and our off-angle viewing is tremendously improved. So all that means better picture quality improvements.
I'm going to vouch for that, having seen it myself. The off-angle viewing is significantly improved, and I think people are going to be stunned by the black levels that they're getting from a more conventional LED LCD TV, which right now is the bread and butter of the business, right? We got to move on a little bit because so much stuff. You guys are making some big moves in the smart home space. Before, we had an app for the washer and dryer, we had an app for the fridge, we had an app for the TV. Maybe you could fold in your locks and your lights and stuff like that. What changed this year for you guys?
So Samsung is talking about at CES 2018, not only at this first look event for TVs, but for all of our product portfolio, the promise of MDE, or multi-device experience. So to answer your question, in 2018, we're integrating Bixby voice control onto our TVs. We also are unifying, as you said, what used to be a myriad of different Samsung apps into a single Samsung SmartThings app. And through that app, you're able to connect and control all of your IoT devices, not only in the Samsung ecosystem, but because this is SmartThings driven, it's hundreds of other third-party devices, all through that single app.
Samsung Smart Hub can integrate Nest, Ecobee, Philips Hue, like you name it. You can fold all these things in. I've seen it work, and you can fold all these things into one convenient app and control it all with one app. I feel like this is something that's been missing from the smart home world for a while, so that's kind of a big deal. Last thing, we're moving fast. I was really happy to hear you guys kind of embrace gamers at this particular event. I mean, in a very direct and significant way. If I have an Xbox One X, what will I get out of the experience playing on a Samsung TV that's coming out in 2018?
You get the best 4K HDR gaming experience. So in 2017, Microsoft and Samsung struck a partnership, and that was a bit of marketing, a bit of promotions, and some unique content. But in 2018, we've taken that to the next level. Our engineers worked with Microsoft engineers to develop automatic recognition of game console being connected like Xbox One X, and performance improvements on the TV itself to reduce input lag and to improve frame rate. So that TV, the Samsung TV, automatically recognizes an Xbox One X and delivers the ultimate in 4K HDR gaming experience.
It's just automatic, kind of like the improvements that you've made to your smart TV interface. The setup's automatic. You pull it out of the box, your app says, I see a new smart TV, and the next thing you know, it's logging you into Netflix for you. Is that right? No more usernames and passwords?
Absolutely. One of the biggest pain points when I would get a new TV is having to go through and try and punch in my username and password on a traditional remote. So no more. With Samsung's easy setup and connect, as you said, the TV hops onto the Wi-Fi, and through your mobile phone using the Samsung SmartThings app, you can decide what apps you want to push onto that TV already being logged in.
Well, listen, Dave, I do this for a living, and I'm having trouble, wrapping my head around all of it. So thank you for explaining how it works. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go around here. We're going to take a look at each individual element that we just talked about and actually see it in action. Dave Doss, thank you for being with us today. We really appreciate it. This is Caleb Denison for Digital Trends at the Samsung First Look at CES 2018. Be sure to check out digitaltrends.com/CES for all of our CES coverage.